Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Koehler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Koehler.
Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, your very bossy fitness pro from fitzness.com. And welcome to the Fitzness Show. Today, we're going back to the Q&A. That's right. You guys have been inundating me with awesome questions I think that are relatable to probably almost everybody. So I'm really, really excited to answer them. I am also very pleased to congratulate all of my fellow American citizens on having election season over. That's right. I'm so happy it is done. And I feel like, boy, does it last too long. You know, I think it's gone on for 2 years or something like that. They need to cut it shorter. This is my amendment I'm going to make to the campaign laws is stop, shorten it, do less. But it is over. And for my Republican friends, my Democrat friends, my independent friends, my friends who deal with the alien party, whoever you are, you should be exercising right now. I know some of you are elated. You should exercise. You should use that super energy to go have a fantastic workout and feel even greater about yourself. If your favorite candidate or candidates lost because there were so many different things to vote on, then okay, go exercise. It's great for venting that toxic energy. That's one of the things I harp on week after week after week with this show, with my articles, with my books, with my speaking presentations is folks, control what you can. You voted. That was your control. You did your research, hopefully, and then you went to the ballot box and you voted. That's where you have control of this situation. Now you're back to controlling yourself. Hopefully you will be a beneficial part of this society, not hostile or horrible or mean to your fellow citizens, or maybe you shouldn't gloat to your fellow citizens, right? If you were on the winning team for the presidency or your governor or your senator or whoever it was, you should not gloat. That's not a nice thing to do. Either way, what you can control is yourself. You can control what you put in your mouth. You can control the way you move your body. And it has been proven time and time again that exercise is beneficial for managing stress. It is very, very beneficial for anyone who's having any sort of stress. So do it. Go dance, go play, go lift, go stretch, go do balance training, whatever it is, get it done. And I promise you'll lift. You'll lift because this country, how old are we now? Since 1776. So 250-ish years old. We've had a lot of elections that made a lot of people happy, a lot of people sad, and there will be another one in 2 years. So trust me, you'll have your chance. But either way, congratulations on everybody for not having to look at those commercials anymore and not having all those flyers show up in your mailbox. And for reals, not having all those texts come in. The texts, even the texts that came through from my favorite candidates, report junk. Stop. Cut it out. Leave me alone. So now I'm living in peace, and I hope you are as well. And for sometimes that's all you can ask for. So speaking of living in peace, I last weekend went to Macon, Georgia to see my favorite comedian in the whole world, Jerry Seinfeld, perform. I've seen him perform live twice before here in Gainesville, Florida. And sadly, he didn't come straight to Gainesville this time, but he came kind of close, Macon. So I jumped on those tickets and was so excited to go. And it's about a 3.5-hour drive. So made the drive there, spent the night, drove home the next day. But I was pumped to see him. Now, this is what you should know. Is his opening act pretty good. He's in the same vein of Jerry. He's not vulgar. He just talks about everyday stuff. He was entertaining. Of course, anybody or many people will fall short compared to master of the art like Jerry, but he was pretty good. He was a good opening act. I enjoyed him. And then Jerry comes out. I love this. So the opening act, he leaves the stage. We're clapping for him. And then there's no hoopla, hubbub, let's welcome Jerry Seinfeld to the stage. All of a sudden, he's just running out, literally bent elbows, knees up high, bounding onto the stage. I think that dude's 70 years old. He looks fantastic and so much energy. And he was just hilarious, as to be expected. So fun and funny. And he did actually curse this time. He used the word ass multiple times, which was surprising. And isn't it very funny how some comedians, they base their whole routine over the F-bomb, right? And it's so funny every time, hardy har har. I really think maybe that's a less intelligent way to go. You know, Jerry can put us in stitches by just talking about coffee or cemeteries or bathrobes. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to be vulgar or shocking. He's just really intelligent and really, really funny. So his part of the show was spectacular. Near the beginning of the show, I was surprised he was using a wired mic. I'm sure there's rhyme or reason to that. Now, wired mics are more reliable with sound. So if you don't work on a microphone, if you have a wired mic, you are likely not to lose connection, right? Because that's an issue for me often is I'll be talking, and if I move too far away from the receiver, I lose connection, blah, blah, blah. But he was using a wired mic, which I find terribly annoying because I move all over the place. I'm a very active speaker, and so is he. But even with that wired mic, he started losing connection. And I enjoyed watching a pro do what a pro does. He just looked off stage and he said, how about a mic that works for real type thing? And they brought him out a mic, and he was patient, and that would have thrown a lot of performers off, especially a new performer, right? Someone who isn't as comfortable on the stage. Someone else, a lesser presenter, might have panicked, but he just went with it, and he was spectacular. Now, the bummer part of the night is there was 4 idiots sitting behind me. I was 4th row, so I had really good seats. And the bozos behind me were having a conversation the whole time. And so at first I turned around, gave them the look. You know, sometimes you just give people a look. You don't even have to say pipe down. But I gave the look, and they got a little bit quiet for a little bit of time. And then they started yammering again. And finally I turned around and I said, can you have this conversation outside? And they stopped talking. And then I had to say, I'd really like to hear the show. And there's just jerks. I'm guessing they drink alcohol. That's going to be my explanation for their rudeness, but control, right? So they're ruining the show, and I'm starting to stew. I've spent a lot of money. I've driven a long way. He's my favorite comedian ever. I've been dying to see him. And now they have the audacity to blah, blah, blah. Well, Jerry Seinfeld is going yada, 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 right? But what did I do? I thought, control yourself, Fitz. Just control yourself. I can't control them. I probably could have gotten up and said, hey, can you remove those people? And maybe an usher would have done that. But as I started to stew, as I started to boil up with a little bit of Fitz fury, I just decided, let it go, listen, because he's not going to stop his show for these jerks. He's not going to stop the show for me. And if I want to enjoy the show, I'm going to have to force myself to enjoy the show. And I did. I was able to control the me, which I consider a big W. That's right. When you're furious, when you're getting mad, and then you just, what's the word? When you douse that flame. And I genuinely was happy and laughed, and I did manage them with a few dirty looks and a few words, but yeah. I managed myself, and I had a damn good time. I highly recommend going to see Jerry in concert. He's even better than on television, if that's possible. Same jokes probably, but it's wonderful to be near him. And so he ran on stage, and we all clapped at the end, and then he stuck around and answered a few questions. And I considered asking a question, and I'm not a scaredy cat, but I couldn't think of a question worthy of him because he's so smart. I did feel like if I asked a stupid question, he would address the stupidity of my question. So I didn't ask a question, but other people ask stupid questions like, have you considered a reunion with Elaine and Kramer and George. And he's like, God, gee whiz, I've never thought of that type thing. So he answered a few questions. I didn't ask any. And then he ran off the stage. And so very efficient man. I was seated on the outer side of the auditorium, again, row 4, but as soon as I exited the road, there was a door to the outside. So I walk outside, and then here comes Jerry's black SUV, Hummerzine, or whatever it was, a Suburban, I guess. He was already leaving the auditorium so fast. And I love the ritual that he and his opening act, they get in the car and then they go, and they don't get stuck in traffic, and they don't get stuck with crowds. Or it was great. It was great. I had a lot of fun. And Macon, Georgia, for some reason, I fancy Macon, Georgia to be this really fancy place. Or yeah. I mean, I don't know, fancy. Fancy is a stupid word. I don't fancy it to be a fancy place, but it was famous. I've known of Macon my whole life, but there really wasn't much to it. That was it. There wasn't much to it. I would have liked to walk around and see some things, but I think I saw all the things between eating at a restaurant and walking to the auditorium. So anywho, Georgia's great. Yay, Georgia. Jerry Seinfeld, fantastic. Hooray for me for controlling my fury, dousing that fire, and just having a good time. I hope you can do the same thing, because you know what? You're going to go to a movie theater and some jerk is going to be so loud or chewing his popcorn so loud. Do you ever sit next to one of those people that chew with their mouth open? You can hear every bite, and it's so gross. You're going to have to control yourself or move. Also, going back to the election thing, I posted a "Can't We All Get Along" post on Instagram the other day, and I had some fine people tell me to F off. They said, F you. So I thought that was awesome. It was one of those, hey, win, lose, let's all get along. You can be nice to your fellow Americans. And yeah, they were pissed at me. Ooh, boy. And so I responded. I said, okay. And they said, F you, I'm unfollowing you. And mind you, I wasn't pro either candidate. I just said, take a deep breath. And so it was F you, unfollowing. And so I said, okay, bye, and put a heart there. And the response came back, I don't need your love. I felt like, I think you do need my love. I think you need a lot of love right now. You seem to have some major issues. But anyways, I think it's kind of fun to get told to F off once in a while. It's good for the soul, right? It's good. It's good. It's refreshing. And we will be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback Series by Fitz Koehler offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and The Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit fitzness.com today. That's FITZNESS.com. Fitzness.com.
We're back. Okay, moving on to your Q's and my A's. That's right. Question, and answer time. All right, Chrissy Lyons. It's a wonderful question. She's one of my hotties, one of my fitzness fiends. She says, I find it difficult to do it all. Work, pick up the house, run errands, keep up with friends, exercise, keep track of my eating habits. How do you prioritize and decide what to leave behind? And I'm sure some of you have things like take care of kids or grandkids or animals. There's a lot of things. So how do I prioritize? I prioritize by putting the absolute essentials up first. So for me, that would be work. And for many of you, if you have to earn a living, you must show up at work. Let's say that's a 9-to-5 type thing. Well, there you go. Priority set. You need to pay bills and you have committed yourself to this employment agreement. So there you go. All of a sudden work becomes number one. Perhaps that's school for you. You have a commitment to make. Now, you do want to clean your house, right? Nobody wants to live in a filthy house, a house with roaches. I get it. But I would put exercising, for example, way on top of vacuuming. You know, the amount of time you need to vacuum your living room or your bedroom floor, that's subjective. Some people want to do it every day. Good for you. Some people do it once every week or every other week. Good for them. But exercising, your heart, your lungs, they're not going to wait. Your bone density, not going to wait. Your balance or lack of balance is not going to wait. So know that exercise should be way above your house cleaning. It should be way above certain errands. So if you're running out of eyeliner or Gorilla Glue and you need to go shop for that, that can come behind exercise. You and your dogs go out for a walk or a run, or you hit the pool to go swim, or you lift weight. That's fine. The eyeliner can wait for another day, and the Gorilla Glue can too. So you just got to know what's a priority. You have your must-dos, that's work and school. And then you have your should definitely do because your life depends on it. And that's where the exercise comes in. Eating, well, you have to eat. This is what I've been told. I'm actually someone, the constant eating thing annoys me. I'm sick of making the decision all the time of what to eat and how to prepare it or should I buy it. It's constant decision making. However, I know it has to be done. So you have to eat. And don't use that as an excuse to eat garbage, right? You have to eat. And if you want to eat quickly, make a choice of a healthy food you can eat quickly. That's a Kind bar or an apple or a banana or a handful of nuts, right? There are things you can eat in a hurry that are healthy. So if you need to eat on the go, make great choices, stop at the right place. You know which gas station sells a little bag salad. You know which grocery store you can pop into real quickly and get a little dish from the deli that's healthy and convenient and affordable. So eating, important. Exercise and nutrition, they have to be at the tippy top of your list every day. Some days your self-care, your healthcare will be having a nap, right? Maybe that's on your agenda, but don't put exercise and nutrition at the bottom of your list. If so, you will fail. You will be one of those people who are constantly upset with their body, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way it performs. So it has to be at the top of your list. And if you have to miss out on, I don't know, doing cool stuff with your friends or having those phone conversations, fine. I multitask my face off when I exercise. I get on my treadmill and I like to walk. I like to run too, but sometimes I walk 4 miles and I talk on the phone for an entire hour. I just go through my phone list of people to call, whether they're friends or colleagues. I make those calls while I walk, and you should be able to do that too. And I don't mind huffing and puffing in the phone. I can walk damn fast, and I can walk on an incline while having a conversation. If the person on the other end doesn't like it, they can get off the phone. They can say goodbye. But yeah, you can multitask on a lot of these things. But I don't know. You should not live in filth. Your house should be clean, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And yeah, that's it. Just put your priorities in order. I just had John Spence, a world-class leadership trainer, on my podcast. And what did he say? When values are clear, decisions are easy. Something in that vein. When your values are clear, your decisions should be easy. So work, school, health will just make that a top tier item. Friends, family, cleaning your house, running errands. There's a lot of must do's and wanna do's. And the exercise and nutrition thing is certainly a must do. So that's how I prioritize it, Chrissy. Great question. Right. She also says she asks, why are there so many conflicting opinions on, she says, diet. I say eating habits because I hate diets. She says, even amongst doctors, I have heard, cut out products with wheat, keep carbs under 100 grams a day, eat plenty of beans, legumes, or decrease dairy, increase dairy. It's information overload and frustrating. And I totally get that. So know this, doctors are not nutritionists. Doctors are not fitness experts. Doctors are experts in sick care. They are experts in helping people who are sick. And so I don't know if they're the right people to go to for advice on nutrition. In fact, I've heard doctors give out horrific advice, putting people on all sorts of weird diets that are really detrimental. So the gist of food, I don't think is very complicated. There's produce, right? Good for you. Dairy's subjective. Vitamin D and calcium are not. We do need vitamin D and calcium, whether it comes from cow milk or soy milk. up to you. If you are allergic to dairy, if dairy bothers your stomach, then you should avoid dairy. I think it's interesting, maybe about 8 years ago, gluten-free was the big thing, right? There was all these people on a gluten-free diet, gluten-free, gluten-free, gluten-free. And you know what? If you have a legit gluten allergy, then you should avoid gluten. Okay. Avoid gluten if you have a real aversion to it. If it makes your tummy hurt or causes diarrhea or constipation or whatever happens for you with gluten, then fine, avoid it. But if you don't have an aversion to gluten, why are you avoiding it? Why? I don't understand that. The same thing goes for dairy. Now, there are ethical reasons. Some people just don't want any animal products at all, and I respect that wholeheartedly. I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan, but I see why people would happily give up milk and dairy products because they just care for animals so much. But if you don't have an aversion to dairy, all right, have a little milk in your coffee. That's fine. That's fine. Have some milk in your cereal. That's up to you. So anytime someone looks at you and gives you some sort of generic advice, have 100 grams of carbs a day, they've lost their mind, because there is no generic number we can assign to any sort of grown-up, right? If I said 100 grams of protein for you and me, are we the same exact size? Do we have the same exact muscle mass? It doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, nutrition there are foods that help, there are foods that hurt, but you shouldn't take generic information from a physician unless that physician has extra training in nutrition. I'm sorry. I hope that helped my answer. There's so many people saying, don't have this ever. Okay, well, maybe that rule works for some people. You know, my grandmother was allergic to strawberries. Poor dear. Strawberries are so wonderful, so delicious, so nutritious, so packed with vitamin C. What a shame she couldn't have strawberries. But based on her aversion to strawberries, she would get hives. Imagine if we were telling everybody, don't have strawberries. You shouldn't have strawberries. That would be absolute insanity. So there are a whole bunch of foods that are in the good for you category that may not work for everybody. And that's okay. You may be averse to nuts, right? Nuts are healthy. Some people, nuts will kill. So that's kind of why you'll see conflicting opinions, Chrissy, is there are different rules for different people, but don't let yourself be categorized into a group you don't belong in. I hope that was helpful. Okie dokie. Laurel Adams. This question is about a month old, but we resolved it online, but I still think it's one worth sharing and addressing here. So she says she's really stressed out. She has, in 2 weeks, she would be running a marathon, the Marine Corps marathon. She had a really bad cold. She said she's existing on soup and was asking if I had any ideas for her to get healthier in a hurry. And so, yeah, with 2 weeks left before a marathon or a half marathon or whatever else you got going on, and she said she had been sick for a while, go to the doctor. Yeah, doctors have solutions. Okay, so my last questions, I told you, maybe not trust those doctors. When you're sick, the doctor has a solution. And so for me, if I have a big event coming up and I start hacking, or my sinuses are stuffed, or I've got green stuff in my face, yeah, I'm going to a doctor ASAP, because I know if they give me antibiotics, I'm going to start turning that corner almost immediately. And if I've got the flu, maybe they have the Tamiflu for me. There's quite often a solution a physician may have for a sick person. That's right. If you're a sick person, that's when a doctor comes in order. So I tell her this, and she said, okay, I'm going to call Monday. And then gasp, she said, my running coach told me to run through it and the endorphins would fix things. What the ever-loving F? Are you kidding me? And so that's why it's important that professionals like us stay in our lanes. I'm not a doctor. If you're sick, I'm not going to tell you to go do a bunch of push-ups. Telling her to run because she's sick and the running will fix her sickness? Okay, what if I said do 50 burpees? That's a cure. okay, go swim 30 laps. I've got your back. You'll be healthy by Tuesday. Dumb, outrageous. That person should not be allowed to guide others in the category of health. And really, more importantly, is those people should not be trusting a running coach on how to handle an illness, right? What in the world? And so, yeah, I responded pretty quickly and said, you need to go to the doctor and see if they can nip this in the bud quickly. And she says, okay, I will do that. And then she did it and it worked. She got an antibiotic. She might have gotten steroids or an inhaler. I don't know what else came with that package, but then she did great. And she showed up and she ran her race and she crushed it. And so, yeah, if you are a week or 2 weeks out from a major sporting event and you're feeling like garbage, go to a doctor. Even that CVS Minute Clinic, they do a great job. I have used CVS Minute Clinic from a speaking event in Chicago. I had spoken and then I woke up the next day and everything was wrong with my lungs and so forth. I called CVS Minute Clinic in Chicago and talked to a telehealth physician's assistant or nurse practitioner. And so they called me an antibiotics to Fort Lauderdale, which I went and picked up the next day when I flew to Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, use the doctors when you're sick. That's my back-to-back questions involving doctors. We got to love them when they're in the appropriate capacity. Okay, next question. What are my best tips for getting back on track when you've eaten a lot of junk or overindulged and have no desire to get back to healthy eating? Any guidance for starting a new healthy habit? I'm really trying to replace one of my daily coffees with herbal teas. Okay, so we all do it, right? We show up at that tailgate or bridal shower or wedding or baby shower or go out on a Thursday with the gals or the guys and pig out. It happens. Okay. Wake up the next morning, get back on track. If you have established quality eating habits, and so that's the thing, habits, right? Do you have habits? Have you formed habits? If you have formed habits, then your body, your mind, your entire health outlook can survive a Halloween party or a big Thanksgiving feast, as long as you wake up the next day and you're back to doing the thing you do, which is watching what you put in your mouth, moving your body. The same goes for, I don't know, let's say you don't exercise for a few days. All right, exercise, right? Just start back. Choose the apple over the muffin. Choose a banana over a donut. Simple steps go a long way. And your body will respond to those things. It's most of the unhealthy food we consume doesn't have a lot of fiber. And so that'll really impact your gut, right? All of a sudden, your digestive system isn't working. Your digestive system is supposed to work like a well-oiled machine. We want that baby doing its thing, right? Keeping things moving and grooving. And when it stops, things start to feel bad. Or when you crank it into high gear with alcohol or garbage food, then your digestive system freaks out, and that's no fun either. And so I think if you're not eating wisely for a couple of days, a healthy person will start feeling pretty bad, start feeling the consequences of those bad decisions, and start saying, you know what, I need a salad, or can I get some shrimp and grilled vegetables at my next meal? I need healthy food. And so hopefully habits are the things that will keep you on track. And if you happen to fall off, fine. Just get back to it. It's spilled milk. We can't go back and undo the past 3 days worth of edible debauchery. So just jump back in. And the same thing goes for exercise. All I would suggest with exercise is you don't have to pick up where you left off. So if you are doing big time running or strength training or anything at a very advanced level, and then you take even a week off, let's say you have a cough, right? And you take a week off, don't jump in exactly where you left off. Creep back in, do maybe a half-paced workout, and then the next time do a 75% pace workout and rebuild yourself back to where you want to be. But yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of people who, obviously, I loathe diets. I despise them, all of them. But some people say, well, I have a cheat meal or I have a cheat day. Who the hell are you cheating on? That's ridiculous. You're just choosing to eat some unhealthy food. It's not cheating. You're making a grown-up decision. Tonight, I am having a milkshake. That's not a cheat food. That's just food. You have chosen an unhealthy option. Fine. Get past it and get on with the good stuff. Yeah, don't cheat thing. And some people actually build into their life, once a week, I'm going to have a cheat day. All day, I'm going to eat all the things I want. Really, bozo? That's really stupid. That's really stupid. That's like saying, you know what? I'm just going to drive drunk on Thursdays. Thursdays, I'm going to drive drunk. We'll just hope for the best. Don't be that person. You don't need to save a whole day to eat donuts and pizza and burgers and fries and milkshakes and margaritas. It's crazy. Your digestive system can't handle it. Your mind can't handle it. You will sleep poorly. Everything will feel bad from 24 hours of your quote unquote cheat days. So cut that crap out. Oh, and backtracking, Laurel was asking of how to replace daily coffees with herbal teas. Well, you got it, sister. You're going to start replacing some of your daily coffee with herbal tea. That's it. You just got to replace it, baby. So you could have 1/2 cup of coffee and then have a 1/2 cup of herbal tea, or you can have coffee in the morning, herbal tea in the afternoon. Maybe you're weaning yourself down. So it's herbal tea every third day, then herbal tea every other day. And know this, unless you have a real issue with something, you don't necessarily have to declare yourself cold turkey on anything, right? The only thing I find value to be cold turkey on, of course, is cigarettes and smoke, anything you smoke, right? Alcohol, there's a real benefit to being cold turkey on that. Drugs, of course. And then animal products or animals if you're a vegetarian. But, some people, they consider being plant-based, but then they think, oh my God, I can never give up steak. Okay, well, you don't have to give up steak. You could have, 2 weeks worth of plant-based meals and then have a steak at your corporate dinner or at home, whatever. So if you don't put a label on yourself, I'm coffee free forever, then that'll make it a lot easier. Just make the decision, use your willpower, Laurel. And the more herbal tea you drink, you might find your body feels a little better, a little less jittery and so forth. So, but coffee actually has some proven benefits to it. I would just keep it to 1 cup of caffeinated per day. And then maybe have some decaf coffee too. I'm a tea drinker. I have a little bit of coffee in a frappuccino, soy milk, sugar-free with stevia, but to each their own. Okay, next question. Valerie Marble wants to know, how do you adapt the strength training for runners when you have a knee or lower leg injury? And that's a fantastic question, Valerie. And the my strength training for runners workout, which if you're not familiar with it, folks, if you're not familiar with it, go to the cover of fitzness.com. There's a little block that says strength training for runners. It's a perfect workout for strength training for running. If you would like to be a better runner and run further, faster, and pain-free, that workout's for you. Do it. It's 12 minutes worth of exercise. Do it every other day. You'll see dramatic results in the way you perform and the way you feel. So for sure, a lot of those exercises get negated depending on what your lower body or knee injury is. So lunges, squats, step ups, step downs, lateral gait with bands, hip flexor lifts. There's a lot of things. Okay, so you should be able to do the hip flexor lifts. You should be able to do lateral gait. Now I'm saying this, I don't know exactly what injury you're dealing with, but if you can stand and do some exercises, great. You can do squats instead of lunges. Lunges are certainly more taxing because they require a lot of balance and they require each leg to work independently. But depending on what kind of injury you have, you might still be able to do squats. And if you can't do squats with the full weight of your body, you can do them holding on to a TRX, suspension training handles, or you could just hold on to a counter and remove some of the resistance that you can hold on to a counter and lessen the load as you squat. So talk to a doctor, talk to a physical therapist, because I'm really making suggestions without knowing exactly what type of lower body or knee injury you're working with. Sometimes with a knee injury, you have a physical therapist who says, hey, you need to do some squats, right? You need to do some lunges. They will benefit. A physical therapist who's dealing with you and your specific injury is always going to be the best choice. But with a knee injury, I could say probably anything lying on your side, leg lifts, doing hip flexor, leg lifts and lifting to the side. You could even put the resistance band around your thighs and you won't be irritating your lower leg or your knee. Resistance training in a pool could go a long way. But again, it depends what injury you have. So know that all the exercises in that program will eventually likely be prescribed to you in your recovery by a physical therapist, but talk to a PT. That's my best advice. Okay, Kelly Pravat wants to know. She says, if you wanted to design a line of fitzness apparel, what pieces would it include? It's a really fun question. I think I would include all of them, Kelly. I would definitely have tank tops because I'm a big tank girl, and shorts because I'm a hot weather girl and I want everyone to wear appropriate attire in warm weather or even in a warm fitness center, right? So tank tops and shorts would be on that list. For sure, I do running tights. I would do little skirts, especially now that I'm doing ballroom dancing. It's funny when I'm very straight, right? I'm not the curviest girl. I do have some curves. I'm going to defend myself there. I have some curves, but I'm no Kim Kardashian, and that's no surprise to you. So when I dance and I wear my little skirts, as I move my hips, if I move them the right way, the skirt flips around and lets me know I'm doing the right thing. So I would have a little skirt in that mix, and socks. I would have fun knee-high socks, and then no-show socks because I love no-show. I love my feet to feel naked. That's actually a weird little thing of mine. But yes. And then I'd have a cute jacket. And I think that's where I would stop for starters. Oh, sweatpants too. Look, I'm just going to do it all, Kelly. I'm going to have it all. And I think I would put either a heart or a star on everything because those are my favorite shapes. All right. Those are my Q's and A's for the day. Thank you so much for writing in on Mondays when I post on Instagram and Facebook. I really like it when you reply and share what's on your mind and let me help you get where you are going. Sometimes I have perfect answers, I think, and then sometimes not so perfect. Perfect's boring anyways, though, right? Right? Okay, so this is my communication tip of the day. Are you ready for it? When you're talking to somebody else, make sure you're having an actual conversation. I have had so many experiences with people who I meet and they decide to lecture me for as long as we're together. And I just think it's rude. I think it's rude. You should be interested in the other person you're talking to. Conversations shouldn't be one way. I have actually spent time with people who never say, how are you? What's your life like now? How's your dog? Where are you going next? I mean, anything. Trust me, I feel like sometimes I'm an interviewer when I am engaging with other people. I ask a lot of questions, might even be annoying, but I like to turn the spotlight on other people. But I find sometimes people aren't reciprocal with that. They never say, how's your family? How's Gainesville? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite color? What size shoe do you wear? I don't care. It would just be nice if they were reciprocal in the conversation and they shared some interest in this direction. And so make sure when you are with somebody else, you aren't just droning on about yourself or your ideas the whole entire time. If you want to do that, folks, get yourself a freaking podcast. Because then you've got license to yammer on as long as you want. That's right. I am the chief yammering officer of Fitzness International and the Fitzness Show. And that's what I get to do. But you're with a friend or you're with a family member, show interest in them. Give them half the conversation, at least. At least. I find it outrageous. There's so many grownups that I know in Gainesville and through the running world and through wherever I go. And shocking to me. Sometimes I'll walk away and I'll think, God damn it, they never once said, how are you? And I think that's weird. So that's my communication tip of the day is focus on the other person. And you know what? That'll make the other person feel special. That'll make the other person feel comfortable. So do that, please, and thank you. And our song of the week, I really like this song. It's a country song. It's just a good one. The artist is Jordan Davis, and the song title is I Ain't Saying. And I want you to listen to this song while... I always have to make up a good thing for you while doing lower back exercises for certain, maybe bridges and Supermans. I also want you to listen to this song while you're on a Peloton or any other sort of exercise bike, and listen to it while you are getting out of the shower after a great workout. It's I Ain't Saying by Jordan Davis. And I love it. Okie dokie, friends. Thank you so much for being my podcast besties. I love you and I really appreciate you. A couple things. If you have not signed up for my Fitzness newsletter, all you have to do is go to fitzness.com and there'll be a pop-up and you just sign up and sign in. And I email maybe once a week. I'll send you updates on the podcast, on my race announcing schedule, some nutrition tips, all sorts of interesting things. So please get on my mailing list. If you have never done so, I'd love it if you would share this podcast with a friend. If you have a pal who's hoping to get fitter, or someone who enjoys running, or just needs to hear a little bit about fitness and health and living better and living longer, your referral would mean a lot to me. So thank you very much for listening. I love you. Get to work.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to give the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Koehler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.